Hello and welcome to State Focus. I'm Mike Frame. There's always something happening or about to in the great state of Queensland, and we'll show you some of it on today's show. We'll catch up with a young bloke from tropical North Queensland who recently had a close encounter with a monster croc and lived to tell the tale. And further south on the Sunshine Coast, we take a look at the biggest farming expo in Australia. Both of those stories a little later. But first up today, Sir Isaac Newton had a bright idea regarding gravity as the apple fell from the tree, and our next guest, Tim Straatmans, had an equally bright idea when the coconut fell on his mum's foot, spoiling her South Sea holiday. And after reading his book, Going Nuts, I think that defining moment might have driven Tim a little nuts along the way. He joins us now from aboard his yacht. G'day, Tim.
Yeah, hi Mike, how are you?
Well, I would imagine that the fact that the first idea about when you saw the coconut fall from the tree, or fell on your mum's foot, you thought this is a good idea, but man, a long way down the road now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I thought it was a good idea when I saw it, and 5 years later when I saw it hit a car in the traffic, I rethought about it and thought I better do something about it. And 5 years after, it's actually 7 years after that now, we're still going, and it's all starting to gather some momentum now, which is pretty interesting, yeah.
You'd think on the face of it though, Tim, you'd say, well, OK, well, the coconut's up the tree, we need something to catch it, we need a net, we build a net. How hard can it be?
Yeah, well, I thought it was a very simple thing. I thought it was an umbrella upside down under a tree, and then while I built an umbrella sort of upside down, then I thought, it's got to actually go around the tree because I can't lift the tree up and put it through the umbrella. So that's when all the fun started to try and make this thing properly round and do all the things that it should have done. Yeah.
The book I've got in front of me and I'm holding up as I speak, Tim, and about going nuts, and there's a lot in here, the book that you've written about, you know, the trials and tribulations of travelling and going through to get from where you were to where you are today. It's a great read.
Oh, thanks very much, Mike. Yeah, it all came about because everybody, including myself, we couldn't find anywhere that here is a definitive answer on what do I do next, all to do with this particular genre of thing, which is called inventing something. So a lot of people have invented things. Most of the people that have invented things have come across the same idea or conceptual problem that I'm having is what do I do next? Who do I speak to? Do I speak to the government? Do I speak to my mum to get some money? How do I go about it? That's what started it all. And
it's a huge road you've travelled, Tim, with this. If, in retrospect, if you'd known back then when the coconut fell from the tree, if you'd known then what you'd have to go through to get where you are today, would you have done it again?
Yeah, good question. My wife would say no, and I would say more than likely I would have. I guess it's part of my persona is to be a little bit tropical and a bit that way, so that it seems to have fitted. But thankfully, I've got a good family, good support, and good wife, and a business which I do elsewhere, which is to do with piping and that sort of thing. If I hadn't had that support from that company and those people, it would have fallen over, you know, as an idea, and as the funds are needed to get these funds, to get all the money from where the wherewithal to do these things. Very, very difficult, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim. Like, you know, you've nearly gone broke half a dozen times during this. You know, it's been a big cost on your own health, your own family, right throughout. But you've had this vision where you think there's an end to this. You know, we're going to make it. You know, so determined.
Yeah, yes I am. I'm very, very determined. I have, because I was actually raised a little bit in New Guinea, and I now spend a lot of time in Fiji doing work with piping and with coconuts. I can see the bigger picture to my end is not whether a net is going to sit under a tree. It is what I can do elsewhere with that net concept. That's actually to catch the coconuts, to use the coconuts to make industry, to make diesel like the coconut oil, which becomes a biodiesel. To do all these sorts of things that all villages are doing now, and we can actually assist them in doing that. I can see a great vision in that. And then we can actually expand on different tree species to make it for macadamia and olive and dates and oil palm and that sort of thing. So it's actually a lot bigger than I even thought of when we come up with the original umbrella. Yeah.
So it's been very much a learning experience right along the way, Tim, because you've got the coconuts there at the moment. They're in the tree. Like, what is it, 150 odd people a year get killed by them. But how many trees are there out there in the world? How many coconuts could you put under trees right around the world?
Well, that's a good question. I can give you some answers, but a lot of it is still a little bit conjectury. In Fiji, for example, they know that they've got 2.5 million coconut trees, and they know that simply because there's an organisation called the Coconut Industry Development Authority that know that they own the rights to the coconut trees. If we go to France, the French group have lots of things in the Vanuatu area and what do you call it, the Numia. The French have a lot of research done on how many coconuts are collected in brown coconut. The brown coconut is of course the riper type coconut. They're collecting 52 billion of these around the world. And that doesn't include anything to do with all the resorts around the world and all the hospitals and schools and that sort of thing. So for our market, it is really an immense market. What we have to do is just make the right strategies and make the right formulation to get it into a business format.
Yeah, Tim, it's a multi-million-dollar industry by the sound of it, but reading your book, and one of the things I understand is that there's a big outlay and a big cost and a lot of time in actually building the coconuts, and you're looking to expand all the time to try and make your business bigger, but it's like every business, as you explain in the book, it's all about cash flow. Do you need more cash to make the business bigger, to make the coconut industry or the coconut nets take off a bit better?
Well, yeah, there's always a yes to more money, Mike, and money makes the world go around, and it makes it go around nicely. So, in other words, if I run out of money, or if my support groups or networks, pardon the pun, but if they actually support me with more money, then I can do more things. Having said that, we walked, for example, into Malaysia recently, and we've come up with a new net for the oil palm industry, and one group we're talking to own more than 1 billion oil palm trees in Malaysia, Indonesia and the Philippines. They are serious, very serious about what we could do for their harvest scenario. That situation all of a sudden has changed my monetary needs into a very big platform. So now what I have to do is do a whole heap of capital raising that I haven't ordinarily done. So there's always an answer to the question of money, Mike. Yeah.
Well, we've got that website and contact numbers. If people would like to find out a little bit more about coconuts and get in contact with you, they certainly can by going to that website we're looking at there. And that, what is it, the palm free? No.
No, that's the tree call. It's a
tree call. The tree call. The tree call number as well. But yeah, you've paid a bit of a price for your passion with this, Tim, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, personally, we've paid a price, and I've fallen out of coconut trees and got injured and so on and so forth, and recently lost my son to an accident that was not necessarily coconut related, but it was all part of the development stages of things. And so yeah, there's definitely a price in that as a family unit. There's a price because it actually takes a lot of time and effort against my normal day-to-day business, which actually employs 65 people. So there's always a price to pay for all these things, and I guess passion becomes part of the equation. So it's not all about money. It's all about why it's good, why it isn't, why it does work, why I want it to work, and what I see as a future vision. Yeah. And
you say in your book it was never about the money, Tim. It was always about what drives you, what keeps you awake at night, what drives you when you wake up in the morning.
I find that to me and a lot of other people in business. In particular, anybody that comes up with an idea, the idea is what strikes them as oh, that's the right idea, and it's not then, from that moment on, it's not necessarily to do with money. Money is the thing that eventually becomes the animal that needs to feed it to make it go, and so on and so forth. And money inevitably is the thing that, if it's the right idea at the right time and the right mechanism, it will make its money. But for me, and me personally, it's money. It isn't. It never was about money. If I could stop somebody getting hit by a coconut like my mum, that's a terrific thing. If then I can actually create a business opportunity for a local village, and then it becomes that's where it really warms my heart. Yeah.
Tim, great to talk to you this morning. Really appreciate it. Looks like a great spot you've got out there on the yacht. Going nuts, you can with Tim. Tim Straatmans. Get his book called Going Nuts, or just go and have a talk to him, or get on his website and find out a lot more about coconuts. Good to talk to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Mike.